Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're starting season 2 this evening. I'm so fucking excited. But I am not the narrator of this game, so I'm going to hand it off to Nathan and let him run with it and try not to talk in my voice and piss Hannah off the rest of the night. So, Nathan, take it away.
All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to session one, season two, Embers in the Ashes, a Blades in the Dark role play extravaganza, I guess we should say. We had session zero, Fireside Talk, kind of last week, and are going to jump back into a score tonight. For those of you who are new to Blades in the Dark, it's by John Harper, and it's a D6 based system where you get successes, but there will be complications and things like that. So you'll see us rolling, and we'll talk about successes and what happens along the way. It is an action based system that should be not so much planning and more driven toward action. So we will jump right into what's going to happen, kind of meeting our crew back together again. I'm going to go around here in just a minute, let each person introduce themselves and say who they're playing and what their character has been doing for the last couple of months. But our opening scene will take place in the mausoleum um, that our crew has taken over as their base. And this may be the first time in a little bit that some of the characters have been down there, or some of them may come down there quite regularly. Our last season ended on a bang with lots of things happening, and it may now we're probably 2 months later and are just getting back kind of into the swing of things. Each one of our characters has been off about their own business, either tending to their family or tending to new jobs or responsibilities or whatever they end up telling you. We'll wait to see what happens with that, but we will jump right into it. Um, Duval, do you mind going first and telling us who you're playing and what that character's been doing for the last couple of months? You're muted.
So much excitement. Anyway, hey everybody. My name is Jacob, Duval King Jacob on the internet. I'll be playing Eyes. He is the group's slide. And he's been a lot busier than I think he anticipated, both with, and now I think one would say a triple owner of, I guess now co-owner of a bar and a racetrack and singular owner of another, but also dealing with trying to co-parent with his ex Darlene. They did not they're on better terms than they were when things began. But work in progress. He's kind of married to these chuckle fucks, so we'll see where that takes him. I'm really fucking excited.
And so, what does a slide? Each again in Blades in the Dark, we use playbooks for each character. There's not really classes; there's more like playbooks, and you'll see some things that go back and forth between them. But each one of these people has a specialty. What would you say that Eyes' specialty is?
Oh man, Eyes is really good at manipulation. He is really good at talking his way into the door and sort of setting things up for success from a talking perspective, and then letting others walk the walk, so to speak. I'd argue.
And one question as we move to the next character, which we'll go to Shauna next. But the last question for you and for Eyes, how has it been balancing multiple jobs, and now you have Joseph in your life for the first time in since he was a baby, as well as Darlene and Eyes kind of talking a little bit more, maybe. How you tell me, how is that relationship forming? How's it going?
So I think the big difference is Eyes really didn't have to put any effort into anything. Um, he relied solely on his talent and abilities, and he just has this natural charisma about him that kind of allowed him to get anything and everything that he wanted. In a lot of cases, especially last season, faster than he expected. But there's also been on the flip side, he probably he's dealing with the fact that you can't win every time,
Mm-hmm.
and so that presents its own complications. And I'll just say, man, he fucking hits spirits.
Okay, thank you. Shauna, can you care to introduce yourself and Miss Corbin to us?
Hey, Shauna Flanksters, and I am playing Miss Corbin, the group's spider, which in a way is manipulation, but using the system, glad handing and manipulating relations between people to get what she wants. She's more of the mastermind type. She is very good at.
And what has Miss Corbin been up to these last couple of months?
Oh, Miss Corbin's been busy. Not necessarily on the heist side of things, but using her newfound membership in the Hive has basically begun a little bit of a proxy war with her and her father, which I use father loosely, basically in the biological sense. She has never met the man. She's aware of him, and they hate each other.
And how do you think that war has gone? How have the battles gone?
I think
each time you go up to for a vote, it's probably a small battle. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone pretty well. I think they each have. It's gotten to the point where I think they're both kind of neck and neck as far as like the amount of influence they have with the other. So it kind of like ebbs and flows, but always kind of it hasn't like broken that equilibrium quite yet.
Okay, good. Sounds good. All right, so let's go to Saevrick, because he always complains that I usually introduce him last, and I would hate to do the expected.
I would never complain, ever.
Oh, grumble?
That's
that better?
That sounds about right.
More akin to my misdemeanor.
Okay.
I am playing Preacher this evening. Uses he/him pronouns. I am the group's whisper. And I guess you could say a whisper is not just like someone who speaks with spirits, but is more attuned to the almost like ocean of energy and activity that happens around the city itself. So it's not really limited to just ghosts, but spirits and demons and occult type things. And Preacher himself, I think, is more religiously tied to it. Not in the religious sense, like is probably evident per se, but more of a spiritual attachment to it. And what else am I supposed to talk about? I'm sorry.
What has Preacher been up to these last couple of months?
Oh, okay.
You finally
have Ezekiah back, who's been my son, who is my son. Brought him back from the brink with the demon Satara, who was some sort of water critter. So the last couple of months have been sort of redefining our relationship, especially with him seemingly now kind of adverse to the idea of going back to university and continuing his studies in the same sort of field that I have. But also, he's also defining his relationship with Miss Fritter, which has sort of become a budding thing at the end of the last season, as they tentatively tiptoe through this newfound, I guess we'll call it a relationship. I'm not sure what you want to call it exactly, but yeah, that's been the last 2 months of Preacher's new life, which is essentially what it is. It's a new take on life.
Great. All right. And Hannah, can you introduce your character?
So my name's Hannah, and my character is Miss Fritter. Her name is Pi to her friends, which none of you are, so you may not call her that. And she and I both use she, her pronouns. And Miss Fritter is what we would call a cutter in Blades in the Dark. Now, it's based on our other characters. If you're not familiar with the system, it feels like everything is very based on skills of like manipulation and like that. For a cutter who is primarily like physical based, like she's your heavy hitter. That's why my character is drawn with a ladle, is because that's how I like to attack people. Built into that though is like attributes like influencing people through physical force. So my character still has the ability to be developed, even though she's a heavy hitter. That being said, though, I really like to play my character as a heavy hitter and leave the sweet talking to everyone else. Is that your only question?
What has Miss Fritter been up to these last couple of months?
Miss Fritter has been seeing to her children and overseeing kind of the developments in Crow's Nest since Alyssa, unfortunately met her demise. And there have been other changes to the other factions within Crow's Nest that I had nothing to personally do with. And I'm just overseeing the proper implementation of new leadership.
Sounds delightful. So again, for those that are new, welcome to Blades in the Dark. We try to do it the best way we know how. We try to follow most of the rules, but for those that, again, that are new, the rule of cool is always number one with us. Role play is number one with us. Our safety, your safety is always number one for us. So if it ever, we've said this to players before, but I'll reiterate it. If you're ever uncomfortable, if you're ever in a situation, everything still holds from our lines and veils. But if you're ever in a situation as we start to go through the season, and you may see us, the way I'm saying it now is because you may see us take a break or stop role play or stop coming because one of us doesn't feel comfortable. And that could be any one of us either in the scene or not in the scene. Again, just as a reminder, if you don't feel comfortable with what's going on or what's happening, please put your hand up, take your headphones off as players, do whatever you need to do to make sure we get the attention, because our safety and our personal safety as people is my number one goal. I want to tell a great story, and I know we will. I want to make sure that we share Blades in the Dark with the group, but you all as people are my number one concern. And at the end of the day, you all matter to me. So again, welcome to Blades in the Dark. We're going to jump right into our first score. They're called scores, which will be scores this week, and then next week will be our downtime, which we take. I say mechanical, but with this group, it won't be as mechanical. It'll be lots and lots of RP, and I guarantee you will not want to miss this group RP. So we'll have some like while we're doing the score now, but next week is when it gets real heavy with the personal stories. So if you're enjoying this, please come back and see how we're going to kind of go throughout the season. All right. So each one of you has met down in the crypt, in the mausoleum that you now call a lair after being rooted out of your last lair middle to end of last season. With some betrayals, you basically have found your way underneath Night Market or are you all in Crowsfoot? Was the mausoleum in Crowsfoot?
I thought the mausoleum was in Crowsfoot.
Mausoleum is in Crowsfoot because that's where Miss Corbin and Miss Fritter were originally from. Yes, my apologies. So in Crowsfoot, there are lines and lines and stacks of people in these mausoleums that are underground, and this is where our crew has made their unlikely home. So you've come back. Miss Corbin has actually been contacted by a person named Zap. Zap is the proprietor and owner of the Sparks Delight. That is a bar. Hold on. I just had a brain meltdown. That's okay, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no worries.
It's in one of the wards. Sorry. I don't know. I had this all written down, I promise. And then my brain went, no, I don't think I want to work.
If it makes you feel any better, you didn't tell us which ward it was in.
It's in Silk Shore.
Okay.
Sorry, so it's in Silk Shore. Silk Shore is to the west. It's a small island. So if you picture the city of Dustfall, it's a city of eternal night. It is on the cusp of a engine kind of revolution. So picture it as late 1800s, early 1900s London, Mumbai, New York. Cramped city streets, and with sky rises going to the ceiling, to the what would be not the ceiling, sky rises going into the night. You have people that have lots of money. You have people that have no money. It's all different types of people living amongst each other. This is a haunted city, a city where the gates of hell were thrown open 1,000 years ago in the apocalypse, whatever they want to call it. And so spirits do not move on of their own free will. They have to be exorcised by members of the government. So you have people that basically live in a lightning walled city powered by demon blood, and that's what the electroplasm that you see arcing above you. It is a city of eternal night because the sun was cast down a long time ago. So it is cold, it is wet, it is dark. Even in the brightest of days, it is barely a dim shadow. And that's where we find our crew now. Um, you all have been asked by Zap to come speak with them and talk about a problem they have. And I think maybe several of these opportunities have come your way within the past couple of months, but the crew just it was either just for money or if it was for something else that the crew didn't really want to believe in. And I think it's taken you all a while to, after your brush with Satara, to kind of get your head back in the game and realize that you all are a faction that can't just go away. The Ash Syndicate is actually now tier 2. So throughout this season, we'll be introducing other hanger-on characters or minor NPCs that'll be around our crew and what they may be doing. We'll have each one of our characters introduce some people along the way, and so the crew is growing and expanding. Maybe not. Guess we'll find out. So Miss Corbin, Zap has come to you with a problem and an issue that they need resolved, and they ask you to come to their establishment. They're in Silkshore. What would you all like to do?
I'll just make an appearance, hear them out, see what's happened to these unfortunate people.
What do we know about this Zap?
Zap runs the establishment, but the establishment is more or less just cover. They are like a safe house for spiritually afflicted types, hulls, hollowed, that sort of thing. Apparently they've gone missing. All of them.
Do they have any idea who's responsible for this?
They might need to jog their memory about it, but it's of a specific importance that, spiritual knowledge and spiritual experimentation is one of the ways that powers that be get a leg up, and people specifically targeting cults and hollowed. I don't like that, and I want to find out what they're doing.
Just when I thought we were taking a nice long break from the whole spiritual realm.
Well, you certainly don't want to get rusty. Keep a little bit on your toes.
I suppose. But I think in the interest of transparency, I'll just say I fucking hate it.
Oh. I can't be too dealing with spiritual. It's not necessarily I'm on my back feet on this, but it's the opportunity for us to find out what's going on and, make some inroads, maybe create some new allies, shore up our base.
That I can live with. By the way, no offense, Preach. Just,
None taken. I mean, I see why I was called back to the group now. I won't say that much.
So, do you all take a carriage, a boat, walk? How do you get to Silkshore from where you're currently located? It's to the west. You would have to cross a couple of bridges, or there's waterways, of course, as always. How would you like to go to Silkshore?
Why don't we go for a lovely drive?
I think it
I
really
think
depends.
That makes the most sense.
I think it really depends on where the blue coats are most active. Unfortunately, we seem to have garnered a little bit more eyes on us. So, and no pun to you.
I'm not offended.
I'd rather them not be tailing us the entire way.
Of course.
So from oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say maybe then the Miss Corbin and Preacher should go together, and then Eyes and I can go separately So then if the bluecoats are on us and are following us, we are not all together at the same time, which may be a bit inconspicuous.
Yes.
So
I
for
s-
the worldview, the crow's foot has become a little bit harder to run around in with impunity. The bluecoats have come in with some force. It seemed like maybe the Lissa and the crows actually had some power over them, and now that Lissa and them are gone, that the bluecoats have decided to close ranks within Crowsfoot itself. But that seems to be that they're trying to close ranks around the bridges going more into the city, and Silkshore is on the opposite end. Silkshore is an island of itself that is known for its vices. If it can be found in Duskwall, whatever vice you want, it can be found in Silkshore. Silkshore is a place. Again, think of it like whatever party place you that comes to your mind, whatever that is in the world. That's the mix of what Silkshore is. So you think you'd have no problem getting from Crowsfoot to Silkshore with you don't even have to roll. You know how to go. You know how to move, how to operate. Unless you do something that's going to draw attention, you're fine.
Well, works for me. I mean, it's a little bit nostalgic considering first time we were in a carriage together.
Hmm.
A little bit of magic tricks, a little bit of artifact gathering.
Well, auspicious as it was, hopefully its luck continues.
I can get behind too.
So I think the camera pans out of whatever the carriage is, your carriage or the other carriage or whatever, however you're walking to get there, and pans back in on the sign, that the neon lit sign that flashes above this establishment called the Sparks Delight. And it's literally neon signs with excess sparks shooting out of it as it flashes. So picture this almost like the Vegas lights. There are people trying to attract your attention. It seems almost as if it's daylight. There's so many lights and bars and every kind of smuggling den and vice den, whether it's people or drugs or whatever it is that you can want to go and relax with at your time, and they're all vying for your attention. And the Sparks Delight is a corner place that has open air bars on the outside with large tables on the inside. It is different in that it uses a lot more electroplasm than other places. Everything inside the bar is lit in some form or fashion. There are literally Tesla coils that are on the top of the bar, and they're sparking from place to place. It uses live electricity sparks as its lightning. And the figure that stands beside the bar looks like they're serving drinks and food and whatever else they can do at this point in time, is not one you would think you would see normally bussing tables and being very, very busy. And that is the figure of Zap. You know that's Zap. You've made your inquiries. Zap is about 7 foot tall and is a lovely stooped figure that seems to be carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. They do use they, them pronouns, and they have long flowing, it's a tight fitting cuirass almost around their waist and their upper shoulders, but their sleeves and their legs are flowing out, like billowing out in all kinds of different shades of colors. And actually, what you can see is as they're walking around and the lightning is striking along the ceiling, it's actually strikes down onto Zap a little bit and flows down the edge of what they're wearing. And you see as it does that, different colors and images come up. It is awe-inspiring almost. And then
How old would you say Zap is?
I would say they have a let's say probably middle age. I would say that Dustfall has not been unkind to them, but they still have the ability to. They have been around for some time. Maybe small crow's feet are on their eyes, just to start. But is that worry? Is that stress? Is that age? It's kind of hard to tell. It's, they're they are definitely a person that seems to have it all together at the very look at them, but you all being people that are used to dealing with people under stress, you can tell that this person is not in their best frame of mind. You can also see that walking around are other what we call hollows, which are bodies without spirits. They're pretty easily tractable. They can be told what to do, and that's what they do. If you think of they're in a zombie-like trance, but they're alive. Their body is alive, but their spirit is just not there. And that can happen in accidents. It could happen in extreme emotional distress. It could happen in lots of different ways, or it could be taken from them. You are well aware that there are people that deal in spirits and try to yank spirits from people. And then you also see around the bar in several locations at the tables doing cleaning and doing other things are machines of some kind. And these are hollows, machines that have a spirit inside the machine itself, powering it to do things. Hollows can be programmed like a computer to do certain things, but the spirit has to be willing to do those things. This is, yes?
Hollows or holes?
Holes. Hollows are the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
A hollow
Okay.
has no spirit, a hole has no body.
Got it.
Sorry, a hole. These are holes. My apologies. Thank you very much for clearing that up. The hole's spirit has to be willing to inhabit this body. This is not a forced activity put upon them. But a lot of times spirits want to be doing something and want to be kept alive, and it keeps them sane and thinking and acting as a sentient person instead of divulging into a feeding frenzy. So the bar is quite busy, and lots of people around, some holes, some hollows, other things around. And I think Zap sees Miss Corbin and kind of waves a weary hand and busts off a table, kind of clears off the table and invites you all to come over and sit down.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
The Ash Syndicate, I suppose.
Yes. We're got your summons, and we're here to help.
I worried you would not take my request. I had heard that you all had been on a freeze for a little bit, yes?
Work continues. Do things that don't. Yeah, sometimes you have to be good to keep you out activities under the radar, so to speak. And
Yeah, can't take on everything after all.
I'm glad you find this cause worthy, as we do. We need help. My hollows and hulls are starting to started going missing. First, it was one and one or two, and hollows sometimes walk off or just bodies give up. We understand that, but this has not been this. This has been over the last few months where we've started noticing them missing more and more, and then my hulls started going missing. You see, they do not. Some live here, some do not. Some are passed to us, and some come voluntarily. We take in anyone we can and try to help them as best to our ability, give them purpose, and they are able to feel as if they're contributing. We appreciate them and look after them, but it seems that we can no longer do that, as our job has been failing. We have an idea of who. You see, they sigh a little bit. I did not know if you would come, so I made a deal with someone that I think is an intermediary. They're three brothers that have been on the streets and have been asking about holes and hollows, and so I've set up something so we could actually sell them one of my hulls. The hull has agreed to go along, knowing that maybe it would help other people or other spirits. But these brothers, they're the cog in the machine. They're not actually who's behind this. That is the person we need to stop.
I see. See who's abducting them? Foul play of some sort? These men, are they locals?
They are. They're locals out of Coleridge. I can give you their names.
Of course.
Yes,
Write
it
them
is
down.
Vond, Cyrene, and Aldo. And I'll have the names. Don't worry about it unless you're Hannah.
Do I recognize any of these three names?
I don't think so.
Do any of us recognize these names of street children?
No, they are not. They are not street children. They're older. These are older people. Not older people, but they were not children at the time. Probably mid-level thugs that have made their way, robbing and doing whatever work they could come up with at any point in time. Not the brightest. You may have heard of brothers that are doing this before or groups, but they didn't stand out for any reason. Zap says, I can give you the details and let you take it from there if that's what you wish. But I do not have the ability. I just wanted to know what is going on. I want this stopped. I can give you coin.
First of all, can you sort of give us a timeline of these events?
Yes. You see they grab a drink and pour you all a drink as well and kind of sit down and may seem to relax for just a second because they feel like maybe their problems may be getting taken care of. And you can see that this has weighed on them. There's no way that it hasn't. Zap says, a few months ago, I had a hollow or two start to disappear. They usually like to stay here. Some like to go back to where their bodies, it's almost like they like to go back to where their bodies were when their spirits were with them. And we notice one or two at a time for a month or so, every few nights, every few weeks would go missing. And we would replace them with others that were willing. And we've had that, but we did not see the pattern at the time. It wasn't until the hulls started going missing that we had an issue. Some of the hulls like to stay here. Others like to be put away in other locations, depending on what's closest to the spirit. What we try to do as best as the spirit allows and what the spirit wants. And the hulls started going missing a few weeks ago. First one, then two. Now I believe I've had 4 or 5 go missing. And it is unsettling in so many ways to see why would someone want a hull that is already programmed in the box? You all know as hulls are not uncommon. They are spirits in machines that can do lots of different things. They can be as small as a toaster or as big as a carriage. There are nobles in the city that have hull-driven carriages that basically self-driving cars that a spirit is the one using the engine and powering it up. They can also be used in weapons. It could be put as at guard stations and things like that. Robots, basically anything you can think of that's mechanical that needs a power source. Sometimes that spirit can be that power source.
So I just need to find these 3 brothers and extract some information from them. I don't know what more we really need from you.
I have a plan in place. If you would like to go through with it, it is completely up to you. I do not want to tell you your jobs.
What's your plan? Like, get to the point.
I apologize. I have asked one of my hollows to drop off one of the hulls and basically sell them to these brothers.
When is this drop supposed to happen?
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
Where?
It is south part of Silk Shore. It's just south of here.
We have to come back.
I'll give some time to prepare.
Guess I'll cancel bingo.
Is there any known factions that work in that particular part of the city?
No, not that we're aware of. Silk Shore tends to be a place where everyone can come and enjoy themselves, and it has been faction-free for a while, and I haven't heard that anyone is trying to move in here. I have a feeling is not one of the factions that we've heard of before.
place of sin with this much money going through it, I'm sure there's somebody around pulling some strings over it.
Well, yes, on an individual basis, absolutely. But if one faction came in and started muscling out or taking too much of the pie, then all the others would jump in so that they could not have their slice as well. So if they all divide the pie somewhat equally, then they all get to prosper. It's basically you don't want to put too much into one thing when the other factions will come after you.
Or there won't be enough left for everyone to go around.
Absolutely.
Horses only get you so far.
So Zap just says, "Let me know what you wish. I will be at your bidding to do whatever you want." And kind of gets up and walks back, and they look back and they go, "I have some tables to clean off," and kind of turn around and walk away.
One sec.
Oh yes. Sorry, my apologies.
You're not good at this, are you? Like you bring up the whole financial contribution and then you don't follow back up at the end. This is a business, after all.
Yes. I apologize. I guess my mind has been elsewhere. My apologies. I can afford 5 coin. Would that procure your services?
Miss Frida, did you say something before about having some fascination with casinos?
I kind of look around. It is a mighty fine place.
I'm not saying to hand it over to us, but maybe we could have a small stake in it. Say 30%?
I think we're going to need a roll. All right. So in Blades in the Dark...
It begins!
Yeah, in Blades in the Dark, we don't roll for nothing. We roll when things can happen. And this is what a roll is going to be. So what are we doing with this? Who is going to be negotiating? Who's going to be talking? What's happening here? You see Zap turns around and kind of squares up a little bit as if the negotiations have begun.
I can use my sway skill to try to persuade this. This is a good idea.
This is a sway?
This is a sway.
I'd like to assist in that.
That's fine.
I would like to assist too if I can.
You can do a setup action. So you can only have one assist at a time, but one of you can do a setup action. I think that's totally fine. So a setup action, again, to give an assist, you have to take stress. But a setup action is you have to succeed at another attribute in order to give that person an extra die. I will say that this is, right now, this is risky and lesser effect.
I would like to use my setup action using this, or which one are you using?
I'm using sway.
You can use whatever you want as your setup. The setup action could be literally anything, however you want to decide it.
Okay, so if I could also use sway, I would, or I will. I brought, because I was aware of the stress on this financial person. I brought a basket of aromatherapy candles and lotion, and I am going to provide it to them as a means of just encouraging them to take a little time for themselves and a little self-care action. And so I'm going to just push that basket across the table, the whole time thinking I would get to finally realize my dream of being a pit master. So a big pit boss, that's what I want to be.
All right. So let's go ahead and roll sway. For this, it's going to be controlled and standard effect. Either you do it or you don't. It's no big deal. Let's see this will be the first roll of season 2.
Season 2, what up?
5 and a 4.
A 5. So a 5 means it is a success, but success with a complication or a success with effect. Zap looks at them and kind of long, elegant fingers rifle through candles and look around and they say, at one time this would have been most pleasing. Now I'm afraid I cannot use this as I normally would, but the gesture is well appreciated. So you're going to go ahead and get your extra die. It is a success, but it's
Do you
not
see
going
the
to.
pie at the bottom? There's a pie on the bottom.
So it is a success. You are going to get another die, but I'm not going to raise the effect from lesser effect.
Got it.
So right now you're going to get your sway, and then you're going to get an assist from eyes.
You say it was a
Yep.
limited effect, or
A limited effect, yes.
Okay.
Which means that this is not a one roll deal,
and I get 2 bonus dice, correct?
or you can change the effect. Remember?
And should I go ahead and say what I was going to say, or does
Yeah.
it
Go.
matter?
How are you assisting? How is eyes
Yeah,
assisting Preacher?
So it's not just 30% though. See, I am also a proprietor of establishments just like this. And from a marketing perspective, it would be really great for us to begin to co-market, and then we could also, from a, I can probably assist in the sort of the back end from a payroll perspective. So this isn't just you're buying our time right now. This is an investment in your future, our future.
I think they are still kind of their fingers are maybe moving the candle aside just a bit, looking at the tea,
Yeah.
kind of thumbing their way through, and they say, an investment. That is an interesting proposal.
Okay.
All right, Preacher, what are you going to do?
I'm going to raise the effect to standard,
Okay.
take 1 bonus die,
Okay.
and hold my
There you
breath.
As always.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, nice.
Starting off right.
All right, so that's a
Sorry,
success.
Nate.
Again, in Blades in
We're
the
back.
Dark. Yeah, in Blades in the Dark, we take the highest roll, whatever the single individual highest roll is. If you roll all failures and still 1 success, so like 1 through 3 are failures, 4 and 5 is a limited success, and a 6 is a success. So Miss Fritter rolled a 5 on the first one, which got her a success, but not quite what she was looking for. And then for the sway, Preacher just rolled a 6, which is a success. So Zap kind of looks at you all and understands, especially probably, I think there's a knowing look at Miss Corbin and seeing what she has done. And with you all kind of talk, I think there's a time to talk and there's a time to like listen or to understand what's there. And you all know how to use that right now. And so Zap kind of looks your all's way and says, all right, that's agreeable. But all this is dependent on me getting on this business ending. If my hulls and hollows continue to be taken, then our establishment will be no more. So if I don't get your help, I'm out of business completely.
You
And
are
when
the
we
one that
You
came
know
to
what,
us,
that-
so
so
obviously we're competent enough to take care of this for you.
And when we succeed, and this business is included, you won't have to worry about anybody bothering any of them anymore.
You see, this could be okay. They take their finger and like a child, stick it into the pie and like put their finger in their mouth, which I will not do on camera, and he says, yes, it sounds good.
And he's dead. They're dead.
No, don't kill Zap. You can't kill Zap. Call back to season 1 for anyone who's still questioning.
Hannah's like, you need to roll.
All right. So that's where. So the camera will pan out right there, and we'll draw a close.
One thing I could add into that.
Oh
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah. Please.
As Zap's walking away, I'll sort of turn to the rest of the group and be like, that made me uncomfortable. You know that they didn't negotiate any further. They just took it. Does that not bother any of you a little bit?
Everything about this bothers me.
Always wary of it, but
Now I was just aiming high for 30%. I didn't actually expect to get it.
Game face.
Just be cautious.
You know that's not really my style.
I know. That's why I'm saying. You should be cautious.
That's what I have you 3 for.
Now we should be cautious anyways. This whole thing reeks of something bigger.
Hmm.
Usually hulls and this and hollows, this sort of thing, can be gotten other means, but someone wants to keep this under wraps. Someone doesn't want anything to be traced. There are secrets, and if they're hiring muscle, they're probably more than willing to try and defend whatever they're doing.
Can I go on record to say I don't like this whole hollow thing going on around here?
What part of it?
Oh, I don't know. People without
I literally
spirits
just
being
traced
used.
like just the world, like a globe.
Now,
Like-
at least the halls have a saying of what they want to do. The spirit wants to take itself into the machine, become a part of it, to become a part of society, and somehow they have that choice. But the rest are just empty husks being used until they're either stolen away or perish.
I think you're just uncomfortable because had Satara succeeded, you may have become a hollow. So you're just a little sensitive about it.
Oh, do we really have to think that far?
I don't think we need to go that far into it, no. This is just a common moral gray area here.
Miss Fritter. God damn it.
But I don't know whether it's
All right.
kind of to kill these things or to let them live on.
I don't think that's your place at this time.
Who knows when the spirits of the dead walk? Who knows?
Anyway, I've said my piece on it.
Still.
So, shall we go play some chess? Catch us a few pawns? Find out if the queen wants to say hello?
If you want to go visit for some lady friends, by all means go. But I'm going to go have a glass of whiskey and take a look around.
Absolutely misinterpreted me, but that's all right.
But that's on the menu too. All right, so that's where there'd be more talks, and this is where the planning would happen behind the scenes. Mechanically, we don't have to do much planning. So what do you all want to do as players now? You kind of know the setup. What do you all want to do?
Well, there's already a agreement happening between them. Might as well ride that to some sort of our way in. They won't be as suspicious about things changing.
Okay.
They're probably going to be skittish if an agreement's changed at the last second.
Okay, absolutely. So, anyone want to do anything before we cut to the next night? Remember, we still have flashbacks, we still have other means, but anyone want to do anything before as a setup, or distinctly say we also need to pick our loadout? This is where we're going to do that. So, everyone in Blades in the Dark, you don't have to pick your equipment ahead of time. You pick it as you need it, but what you will need to pick is how geared you're going into the score. And if it's a light load, then it would be 3 boxes, 5 for normal, 6 for heavy, or some people have other stuff. Basically, every time you want to use a piece of equipment, you use a box or 2. So what is everyone? Make sure that you check your load. What you're looking like as you come into this scene the next night.
I think I'll go normal.
Okay,
So-
normal for eyes.
I'm always heavy, so
Heavy. Okay,
go ahead.
creature.
I'm going light because I don't want to scare these people off.
Okay.
And I don't want to come dressed as my normal self either.
Okay.
I want to try to have some clothing that maybe is a little bit larger than my frame is. Maybe an even bigger hat that I already have on, just to try to hide some of my
That's
facial
possible?
features. It is possible, yes. Because
And
I know that we have a reputation, so
A slight one.
Miss Corbin's
Okay.
going to go normal, but she's going to go in the way of she is going to dress up kind of wear like raggedy a little bit.
Mhm.
They're expecting someone that's on that level, so might as well
So
play up to it.
Zap fills you in and tells you that the plan will be to have one of her hollows basically cart a husk. One of her hollows cart a hull down to the drop location where it's supposed to be. and that's where these three guys are supposed to be. But from there, they don't know what's going to happen, and they give you the location of where that is. So the camera pans in at the sparks to light with the hollow walking one of the mechanical holes. So it's kind of a person and a machine walking along. The hull is a small mechanism of some kind that is used to serve people food and stuff, but is a small and has two little legs that are wheels, I guess, that it just kind of spins. So think of like an electric motor on wheels, and the hollow is walking behind it quietly. They're supposed to go a little south of the sparks of light, a few blocks, and meet at an empty building there. So as we bring in the camera up on you all, my apologies, my mustache, I gotta trim my beard. It's getting me. So as each one of you, as we open the camera on where you all are, can you describe your characters? Because that's something we haven't done yet. I want to make sure we do that. So who is first to the scene?
I think I'll go first. I want to kind of scope out a little bit of the area, and what I would like to do is actually set up a bit of like a sort of a 3-card like Monty stand, and kind of have like a sign of, and I'm just kind of talking smack and seeing who walks by and trying to get them to play with me. And Eyes is a little a little turned down than normal, but he's still in his this actually like almost like alligator leather, like brown leather full suit, with a sort of matching dark brown tie, hat just like this, glowing green eyes behind these large purple spectacles. And he's essentially just a street over, and is just trying to get people's attention, and playing games.
Okay, calling out, and there's people that definitely are setting up doing the same thing. There's games of chance and dice and any kind of street vendor that you could have that are around. They're definitely out, and you're one of that crew. All right, who's next, and where are you?
Miss Fritter is definitely in the building.
Already? Okay. Maybe on the second floor?
Yeah, with good vantage points.
Yep.
And she's, for those who don't know about Miss Fritter, she is a former lunch lady. And so she tends to wear aprons that also serve as tactical vests. She has ladles and meat tenderizers and normal things you would find in the kitchen that she has amplified their effects for the purpose of destroying and killing things. So she will have just found herself a nice little spot with a nice little, good vantage point on the door. And she is waiting in silence.
All right. And who's next?
I think I will be in the street nearby, with the same raggedy sort of look that Miss Corbin's going for, but a lot more like homeless almost. Maybe someone who's ran out of coin at the nearest casino for some time and has been sort of filthy in the streets trying to make way every day. So just like an old, dirty, like crushed velvet sort of looking like vest. Looks like I might have had money at some time, but definitely have lost everything recently. And I just want to sort of like be like laying in the street with the hat over my head and sort of peeking out and just be nearby the scene in case I need to rush in.
Okay, sounds good. And Miss Corbin?
Miss Corbin, while usually being fairly fancy, having her business attire on, she's small, so she's around like I think 5'3", 5'4". So if she's holding she's like a derby cap, kind of like workers, or like kind of what was it, little just like layabout, like clothing and stuff like that. So just like trousers, a heavy coat. And I think she's just going to kind of just like do a similar thing as Preacher, just kind of be a loitering thing, kind of like begging for money, just kind of casing things. Just
Yeah, there are people walking out on the streets. There's people walking around, going into different establishments, walking out of different establishments, or they live semi-permanently there, or they're putting on shows or trying to beg for money. And there's pretty much people everywhere. So it's throngs of people that are around. But even within that, you kind of are able to spot things as they go. All right, so now we're going to roll the engagement roll, which is something I roll as the GM or narrator, and it's about the only time I roll all game, so I try to make the most of it. So we're going to start with a one die for sheer luck. Is the operation particularly bold or daring? I actually don't think so. Is the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target? I do think that it does that, and then friends or contacts for aid. I think that's yes. So we're going to go with the three die. Yes, we'll do a 3D fortune roll, and then we'll take a quick break and come back, and we'll jump into the actual score proper once that goes. So let's see what this is. This is basically how things are looking at the very start of our adventure and what's going to happen from here. So I'm going to roll, and of course I got a 6 because for some reason when these players get together, all they do is roll 5s and 6s, and now they're forcing their good rolls upon me, which I hate them for even more. You are all in a fully controlled situation. You have this place out and guarded. You have the entrances, the people flow as they come through on what's going to happen and where people are at. And so you're just waiting for these 1, 2, 3, these brothers, whatever they are, to make their way in, and you'll be able to follow them or take them, however you want to handle it. So you have them well in control. So each one of your first rolls will be in a controlled state. And so I think we're going to take a couple of minute break and let you get up and get something to drink or the restroom, do whatever you need to do. We'll be back in less than 5 minutes and jump into some action.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Welcome back. We just ran our engagement roll to start off the action part of our episode tonight, our session tonight. We probably did a little bit more lead in than what we normally do. This is session 1, so we got to get kind of back in the flow and get everything going again. But now we're ready to roll. So the streets of Dustfall are crowded and busy. You're in an abandoned building, one part to the other. A couple of you are outside, kind of milling about. A couple of you are actually, or one of you is set up as a vendor, and then we have someone else who's set up upstairs in this abandoned building. Back of it looks like it's been burned out a little bit, so it's got a draft, nice little draft down the back. The wind is blowing, and it's colder than it normally is. You can hear the hull and the hollow downstairs kind of stamping impatiently. And then you all know violent people. You've watched violent people. You in your lives, you know a normal person from a person that you have to watch out for. And that's exactly what you see as two fairly unremarkable looking, but still familiar looking men come walking up through the street. They're slightly pushing people out of the way, but they're trying not to be too conspicuous about it. It's like they're almost in a hurry, but are trying to seem this or not to be. But you know that they seem to be on the edge of violence at any point in time. They walk up the street briskly and look around for a little bit. One of them stands at the doorway and kind of peers out as if they're trying to watch out, and the other one walks in, and there's words exchanged from downstairs. I think it's pretty hard to hear what's actually said, but after a couple of minutes, Miss Fritter, you hear the machine body of the hull start to wheel itself, kind of charge itself up, and wheels itself out to behind one of these other men as the other one still stands at the door. Is there anything you all want to do, or do you want to watch and wait? I'll continue with the action, but know that you all can cut in any point in time and tell me what you want to do.
The hull is in?
The hull and the hollow were in the building.
And there's one gentleman.
One of the guys went inside the building and probably was talking to the hollow, and then was coming out with the hull, the machine.
I think Miss Corbin's gonna look at eyes. And I think we figured out this is something. We'll do the confidence game thing. So Miss Corbin it's just gonna she's just been milling about with just outside, kind of being a little conspicuous.
Mm-hmm.
To this child's hey, I see.
Oi.
I see you. So you've been bringing those things here.
And so, are you speaking to the man walking beside one of the brothers walking beside the machine? Or are you talking to the one that was kind of standing guard outside?
The one that's standing guard outside. We're
Okay.
just
Yeah.
milling about. Just we're not kind of invading that inner area. We're just kind of on the outside.
Gotcha. Okay. He goes, piss off. What do you want?
You don't want to wait. You don't want to waste time with those ones. You know, that Spock's place. They have a whole bunch in there.
What do you know about it?
You see, me and my friend, we have a map. Blueprints.
I just raised my hand at that.
Yeah.
Just
Like
to
he
kinda
looks
let
over
him
at
know.
you, kind of clocks that you're there.
You could just do away with this shit over here and just go in at night. Place is gone. Take your pick of which ones you want.
Yeah. I gotta run that by Vaughn. I don't know if that's how he wants to do it. And you hear a voice from inside, kind of yell out, "Si, what are you doing?"
Oh no, it's just an offer. Just go ahead, ask them. Just talk it over and just.
But don't you want to be the star?
The one that was called Sai kind of looks at you and goes, "No, I do what my brothers tell me to do."
But imagine though, if you find this all on your own, how much more valuable you will be to them.
See, Siren
Especially
looks. Yeah, he kind of looks, eyes you suspiciously, and almost kind of backs up against the door a little bit.
And I'm just like moving cards.
Right. And it's like he kind of, I think he pushes the door open just a little bit further, and it yells in. He's like, "Vaughn, you ready to go? You got him? What would you all like to do?"
Miss Fritter is going to descend the stairs.
Okay.
And she's going to sing the song Tiptoe in the Garden, which is extremely creepy because it's like, tiptoe through the window, by the window, that's where I'll be. And it can be very creepy. And she's just going to descend the stairs to like kind of come through the darkness into where they are.
Okay. So I think you walk down the back set of stairwells and the wind is blowing in. There's a little bit of rain that's starting to come in as well, like a mist. And that slow, creepy sound, almost like you're whispering until you're starting to, you may be saying full, talking in full voice, but because of the wind and everything, it doesn't quite pick it up. And as Vaughn, the one inside, looks at you, he kind of spins around, not knowing that you were there at first, and is kind of looking around like he has no clue what's going on. The one that Cyrene is standing on the outside, can't even see you yet.
Good evening.
What do you want?
Was this a pleasant transaction for you this night?
It was. It still can be.
Still can be. That's it. That's an admirable bout of optimism. I like it. Do tell, do you do this often?
Do what? Pick up merchandise?
Sure. In buildings that you haven't secured in full view of strangers and anyone else. And
somebody's just selling me something. That's all it is.
Are you in need of more?
You see, he kind of like his eyes cut to the right and the left. Yeah. I mean, we've been asked to get a few. You selling?
I know a guy. My question for you, though, is why this arrangement? Why this hull?
Well, he took. This is the one we were supposed to get. So this is the one we came and got.
Okay. See your point. Who sent you?
No, that's not any of your business. You
The
see
funny
his
thing.
Yeah.
Funny thing about what is my business.
His hand kind of slowly. You again, people with violence. You see his right hand slowly start to kind of make its way down his side, and reach into something inside of his coat.
Oh, it's so sweet. My meat tenderizer is out before his hand's even in his pocket, and I am just gonna lunge at him. We're gonna wrestle this guy to the floor.
Okay. So there is no initiative in Blades in the Dark. It is goes to The action goes to whoever initiates action. And this definitely sounds like Miss Fritter is initiating the action here. What are you trying to do?
I guess we would call this a skirmish.
Yep. Okay.
And this is just strong arming him to get more information about who hired him.
Okay.
In the darkness, in a very creepy way, without revealing a connection to the people outside. And so that maybe that we're still separated, and it just seems like I overheard and I was just there.
Okay.
So anyway, it's a beatdown.
Okay.
So because it's a skirmish, this is a controlled setting, right?
Your first roll will be controlled because of my roll.
Because of our thing.
Yep.
Is it standard effect?
It will be standard effect. He is not your tier, so yes.
I'm gonna push myself because this is fun.
Okay.
I got a 5.
All right. So again, a 5 is a success, but it is a limited success or a complication that comes up. What happens is you get what you want, which is you kind of, before he could even understand what's going on, you kind of lunged at him and maybe pushed him down or like are on top of him, basically. But what he is able to do is the complication I'm gonna have is it has limited effect in that his right hand, as you think he was going to draw something, actually comes whipping out and grabs the door and opens the door.
Cool.
Where Cyrene is sitting on the other side of that. And you see Cyrene turn around as the door opens. Like, what the hells? All right, what's everybody want to do?
So I can hear it from where I'm.
Absolutely,
where I'm
yeah. You see, I think that you see and hear the sounds of a skirmish. At this point in time, basically he's been knocked to the floor. Miss Fritter has jumped on top of him, and you see the door open up behind him. So you're able to put 2 and 2 together. What's going on?
You're really not going to want to go into that door. Your safest option is to play cards with me and chat about moving forward, because if you walk in that door, you're probably not going to come out of it.
Are you trying to make him stay? What is your action?
Here.
You want to what?
I want him to come here. I want him to come over here.
I'm going to say that is risky. It's controlled, but it is 0 effect right now. His brother is being grappled by someone in the house. So to walk away from that, you can push yourself for limited effect. You can push yourself for other things. I'm just telling. So again, last year we went on a lot of standard things. This season I'm going to try to do some different stuff, and this is going to be this is not an easy thing to do. It's basically make him turn from the person who he's supposed to be listening to and come to you instead. Does that make sense?
Okay, it definitely makes sense.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm definitely gonna I'll push, because I don't want him to do much other than just get his ass over here.
So what?
Play some cards with me.
So this will be limited effect, and what I'm going to say is a success here. I want to make sure that I say what a success is going to be. I think a success is going to make him hesitate for a round to try to figure out, like you see his mind warring at what it is. That is a true success because it has a limited effect. And then we'll figure out the rest later.
Okay, so controlled. Oh no, it's risky now.
No, it's still controlled. Your first roll will be controlled because that each one of your first rolls will be controlled. So will be controlled. It's just limited effect.
Okay, and then I'll push myself for an extra.
That's pushing yourself. Is basically each one of our players, they take 2 stress on themselves, which they have a limited pool of, in order to get more die or to get a better effect. And of course, it gets a 6. Oh, I hate you all. All right. So you see a war play over his face. He's warring inside. Like his first instinct was to turn and go inside, and then you basically said, hey, you don't want to do that. That's not good. Like that's going to get you killed. And so you see that playing on his face, and he's hesitating right now. He's trying to figure out in his own mind what is best, because you haven't done any. So he's kind of worrying over his head. He sees his brother down, but has not been hit or beat or anything like that. Just trying to like get information out of him. So he's trying to play that through his head. So if there's another consequence, he will probably break and go inside, just to kind of let everybody be on the same page.
Yeah. And just to show him I'm serious, like I'm not gonna close distance completely, but I'm gonna start to kind of walk away. It's like I'll even meet you in the middle.
All right. You see, he doesn't move, but he's definitely hesitating on what he wants to do and try to figure out the situation before it devolves into utter violence. Miss Corbin and Preacher, where are you and what do you want to be doing?
So we've only seen 2 of the brothers, is that correct?
Correct.
So the question is, where's the third?
There's 3.
So we're just trying to keep this one here for now. As far as I can tell, he's the weakest, and at least that we know of, who might be the easiest to get information out of. But we do know that Miss Fritter is by herself inside the building with one of them. Let me see here. I really wish I had something that would be useful in this situation. Like a command, but I don't.
You could also do something in the environment to give you more cover, or
I think my idea, honestly, is to sort of get myself up off the side of this street, looking like the crazy man that I probably do at the time, with one of the long knives in my hand and just like the crazy eyes as I'm stalking towards this Sai. And I'm just going to like brush my hand back, and as I do, I'm going to use my Tempest ability to slam the door shut on this guy's fingers also, since he's holding it open.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
But it's, an attempt to try to keep his focus on us at least.
Absolutely.
So I will take 2 stress.
Okay. And so we've always used an attribute to see how that happens. I think this is just something you're able to do. I don't see a success or a not success. You push yourself to make that happen. I think that you should make that happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So yeah, absolutely. So kind of walk us through, how do we see that Tempest ability flares up in Preacher? What does it look like?
As I have described before, it's sort of like watching Storm from the X-Men. So the eyes glaze over in like a white sheen, almost like frosting up from the bottom of the eye to the top. And the winds begin to howl and tear through the streets, causing that horrible whistling sound. And he just waves his hand across the air, almost like clawing through it. And the wind erupts, it just sucks that door back closed.
Okay.
And have that after effect sort of blow over Sai, maybe push him off a little bit off his stance. And I'll just be like staring dead-eyed at him with these pupilless eyes as I do so. Ain't nothing in there, boy, for you but death. Mind your manners and stay here.
And as that happens, you see the wind kicks up and people start to run for cover because they think it's a storm of some kind or a supernatural event that they want no part of. And Sai kind of gets blown over to the side of the building where he's at, and kind of stumbling up against the ledge, is looking back. Here's the anger kind of grunt or cry as the fingers get slammed in the door, but the door is shut, and doesn't want to quite make a move on what should be done or what's happening. All right, Miss Corbin, what would you like to do?
I think she's going to, while Eyes is kind of trying to convince this, she's going to just keep an eye out for the third one, or if there's any others, like kind of waiting as backup for these friends of these gentlemen here.
Okay. And so what are you using to do this?
Survey.
Survey? Okay. Roll me a survey. And survey, sorry, I should be reading these out so everybody. To use survey is to survey a location or situation to understand what's going on, sense trouble before it happens, gather information about opportunities or exploits. Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to push myself for that.
Okay.
So I'll just be with plus position.
Position is controlled. Again, this is your
Alright.
first roll, and based off my roll, all your first rolls are controlled.
Standard.
Yep, standard effect.
Who's dice 1? Poof. I'm sorry.
So, of course, with the wind picking up, the spirits in the air, the energy that is being portrayed, most people are running for cover, running away. But you see there is a figure huddled in the 1 or 2 buildings up, just down the street, that seems to have taken a step forward on towards you all. That might be your third brother. Okay. So we're back to the top.
That's me.
I'm writing it down. For anybody who is new and doesn't know, I'm our Blades in the Dark historian. And
For anybody new, you can see that they're trolling me in the comments to ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
Thanks. Appreciate this one. All right. So what is Miss Fritter doing? You're basically on top of this guy. This guy he still has his hand probably in his coat trying to reach for something, but you have his hand pinned to the side. It's not going to be easy to do that, and his other hand is one or two fingers is almost jammed into the door, where it's slammed shut with so much force.
Oh, sweet nugget. So, granted that I'm on top of him, I am going to continue to ask him questions, and that I don't care about persuading him to tell me answers. I am going to wreck his face if he does not answer. So, so it's just questions of like, who sent you, who paid you,
Yeah.
which I expect he's not going to answer me about.
So I need a roll of some kind.
Well, I don't want to waste a roll. So, Blades in the Dark question.
Yep.
Am I wasting a roll if I try to persuade him if I ultimately want to wreck his face during this round?
So I think a success is based off what you intend to do. You intend to
wreck his
use
face.
violence to force an answer from him. And so if you succeed, you will use violence in order to force an answer from him. If you do not succeed, then you'll still have used violence. You just didn't get the answer you wanted. Does that
So I can just still wreck.
Right. I think you could wreck. Yeah,
It's
it's
just a
basically
wreck.
how you're getting the answers. I mean, you go up and smack
Okay.
someone in the face. You mean to bust their nose. You're trying to wreck their nose, but you want to get the information out of them. So I
Okay.
think it's still the same intent.
Is it risky?
It is risky at this point.
Is it standard?
Yes, it is standard. He is lower tier than you.
I'm going to stress myself.
And again, is in a bad situation.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh man, we shouldn't talk shit.
All
We
of you
should've
guys
talked
are
shit.
rolling, all of you non-physical people have been rolling sixes, and I've been sitting here like this algorithm is gonna fuck me because it's giving all y'all sixes. And I knew it was gonna happen. And all right, awesome. How does Miss Fritter get hit back? Because we're in the building down at this point.
So what happens is you bust him in the nose a couple times, and he's yelling, he doesn't know, he doesn't know, he doesn't know. And I think you're trying not to hurt him too bad so that he doesn't do too much. And if you, probably your eyes are paying attention to whatever is in his pocket, trying to make sure he's okay. And he ends up kind of taking that hand out and flipping you to basically get you off of him. And so, in a movement, he takes your blow and you punch him straight in the nose. He takes your blow and then uses your momentum to almost shirk out of the way, and so you're both on the floor next to each other. So I'm going to put you on even playing field for this next round. He doesn't actually get to do anything to you, but you don't get the answers you want because it is a success. So he doesn't get away by any means, but he still is going to be on even ground. But what answer you ask? I think he answers one of your questions. What question do you want answered? Because it is success. So let me give you an answer. What would be your first question you ask?
Who sent you?
He, amongst the being hit in the nose and everything, he's like, he yells at you. He says, "I don't know. We don't do names. I don't know." And then you probably go rear back to bust him one, and that's when he moves out of the way. All right, who's next? What's happening?
I guess I'll go next. So I'm starting to kind of again close kind of half distance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually taking, and I'm just like shuffling a set of cards. But I would like to, if I can control the Preacher's Wind for a moment, I would like my coat to just flow away just enough to see 2 pistols on my waist.
Yeah.
Just so he knows. And Tale of Two Cities. So, who would you be doing business with here today?
Sai kind of looks up and is hurt. He looks at you and just says, I can't say anything.
We're just playing cards, remember?
I'm not playing cards.
It's me.
I think he looks over and sees inside maybe the cracked window that the window front that used to be this building, and sees his brother getting hit and makes a turn to go inside the store.
You're my favorite brother. And again, last warning, and I'll actually point a pistol at him.
I think we're going to have to roll something to see what he does. So I'll leave it up to your rolls. I'm not going to make the judgment call what he does. I think he is definitely wanting to go in there now. You also have another one that's coming across the street at you. You may not have seen it. Miss Corbin definitely has.
No, I would argue I haven't. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So same roll. I'll not push this time.
Okay. So
actually, you got a devil's bargain for me. Let's start off hot, baby.
Yeah. Your attention is so enthralled by Sai, you do not see Aldo coming up behind you at all.
Oh, he's coming up behind me.
He's coming up from the other side of the street. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Sure, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Cause I got my friend Miss Corbin right there with me. So is this risky or controlled?
This is risky. Yep.
Okay.
Risky and standard.
Okay, and then 1 bonus dice. All right, here we go.
And we're back. Sai goes to actually has his hand on the door, and then sees your pistol, which might mark off your pistol on your load. Sees your pistol and slowly puts his hand, takes his hand back off of the door, and turns around to face you. He, for a half second, the camera would show him looking over your shoulder at what's coming up behind you, but he definitely is kind of standing there. He doesn't have his hands up. He just kind of has his hands out, as in, I don't have anything. What do you want to do?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Don't worry. I can 1 card shuffle. It's fine.
Okay.
And
So you're holding in there.
Mm-hmm.
Preacher and Miss Corbin, who's next, and what do you want to do?
I think Miss Corbin sees Aldo coming up from behind, and hear that Eyes is working his way into confidence. We'll just reach out her hand and flick out the gun, pointing it at Aldo. We are having a business discussion. Stand there.
Okay. You see he is walking up. He is walking up with his head down, with his eyes squinted. and seems to be doing business. Seems to want to do not business but violence. Looks like that's his kind of answer for the situation. So in order to hold him with something, I'm gonna need a roll of some kind, or you to do something, because right now
It's also a lunch lady.
his intent is to break this up.
Oh, she sees that, and if you won't stop, she'll point the gun at his brother. We just want to talk. If you continue, you will be an only child.
All right, that sounds like is it a command?
It's command, yes.
Okay. So command is the attribute command is command obedience from your force of personality, intimidate or threaten.
All right. Yep. Going to push.
Okay.
Risky. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely risky, and I think this is standard effect, because if it was at him, it'd probably be lesser, but because it's at his brother, it's going to be standard effect.
Yeah.
Let's see how many sixes we can get this time. Come on. Whatever.
Oh no.
Oh no! Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we
boy.
fucking go.
There we go.
Oh. Have fun, Nate.
I think you hear it's risky, and it is a failure.
Here we go.
So you hear, shoot him, I don't care. And this guy brings up, Aldo brings up a weapon and takes aim to fire at you all. Preacher,
Okay.
I will let you, violence is about to begin. I will let you get something in.
Gangs in New York, let's go.
Okay, how close am I to Aldo?
I would say pretty close.
Yeah?
How close do you want to be? Yeah.
Between him and Miss Corbin, preferably.
Yes. Okay.
So I'll do this turn looking away from Sai to Aldo. Just as that white is fading from my eyes, and that blade glints in the light as I turn towards him. Oh, violence.
Can I help you?
And I'll take a step towards him. Oh,
Okay.
I always did enjoy a little bit of violence.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to jab it up into his ribs.
Okay. Miss Corbin, are you going to assist?
I'm gonna assist by the moment that Preacher kind of comes into view. She's gonna say fine, and then just click back the hammer, just to
Yep.
kind of get his attention.
All right. So the shot rings out. Preacher, you spin around and go to stab him.
Okay. And this is my first roll
Yep.
of the engagement, right?
Jeez, come
So-
on.
so-
So it will be controlled. So that means no matter what failure, I can't hurt too bad. I can't hurt him too bad. So yeah, controlled and standard effect,
Okay.
but you get an assist.
Okay.
So you can push up the effect or you can push up the die, whatever you'd like to do.
Can I take a stress? Or 2 stress? And,
To push yourself?
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You can always push yourself, or you can get a devil's bargain. You can't get 2 of those, but you can get
Right.
an assist, a setup action, or a push yourself. You can combine those. That's perfectly fine.
So can I'll use that die to raise the effect to
Okay, to greater.
greater.
Mhm.
And then I'll take the bonus die
Okay.
and hope for the best.
Yeah, me too. Hope for the best. Oh, it is the
Oh
best.
my fucking
It is the
God.
absolute best for Nathan.
Holy shit!
That
I
is a-
totally
that
ate
is
my
a-
words earlier.
That is a massive.
But
So-
what's
That
sad
is-
is I
that is-
kind of
that
I
is the
kind of
worst
wanted
it
this to
could've been.
happen. I kind of wanted this to happen.
Preacher
so
just rolled
I'm
3 ones.
I'm so excited
It's
for
not.
this.
No.
I'm so excited
Oh my
for
god.
this.
Oh my god. All right. Sorry. Keep going.
Please tell me, what are you doing to me?
All right. So it is controlled. I mean, that's so this is he didn't even really see you. I think what happens is you spin around and go to stab him, But when the shot happens, this from Miss Corbin actually shoots him like in the shoulder a little bit, and it spins him around to where he's not where you thought he was, but it basically leaves you open to him coming back, and as a reaction to that, he's going to, I think he's not going to shoot you. He's going to take a meaty punch.
Okay.
And just punch you square in the stomach. So you're going to take a level 1 harm.
Okay.
Probably like gut punch or winded or something like that as he tries to spin around. Yeah, I like that. So that he hits you, but he doesn't. You don't actually get to do your effect.
Okay.
Okay. So outside, you've heard Miss Fritter, you've heard a shot go off. And you've heard Preacher grunt in pain, probably, because this guy's a big boy. Grunt in pain. What do you want to do?
I'd like to have a flashback moment, please.
Absolutely.
I would like to flashback to earlier in the day, visiting my godson, Bazabaz of the Lampblacks, and informing him of our activities and telling him that, it's been a minute since I've had to do much of anything on the street, and I might feel a little bit better if I had another set of eyes down in this area, especially since it's not my home turf.
Okay.
And probably would assume that Bazabaz would agree with me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a 1 stress flashback, not a problem. What do you want to accomplish with this?
I want to have probably a few of the Lampblacks hanging around, and just kind of there to just ensure that not only that we survive, but effectively that nothing specifically would happen to me. That would be how I would have framed it. But
so I'll tell you what I'll do. For those, how about this? For those outside, you see, Miss Corbin, you see coming out of one of the buildings across from you are several people in coal black uniforms that kind of come rushing out when they hear the shots. Look like that originally they were probably drinking in a bar, but they actually weren't. They were just waiting for some kind of signal of violence to happen. And so what I'm going to do is they come over and start pushing and shoving and kind of getting in the way and messing around with things. So all of you all that are outside, you're going to get free assists on the things that you're trying to do. I think that's fair because they're not taking the lead. So they're trying to kind of defer to you, but they're there to push and shove and move people out of the way or do whatever you want to do. Or if you want to have them do a setup action, I can roll a fortune die to see if they can do that. So they're kind of like your underlings or your people that you would have that you're going to have eventually in your own faction. So they're there to NPCs that are there to help you all out. I think giving free assists on anyone that does anything outside is pretty good for 1 stress. So, all right. So that's your flashback. What's your action?
I want to, probably without wasting time about getting up, just in stretching my arm out and just going across my body.
Okay.
Smashing whatever part of him I can physically hit.
Okay.
At that point.
So you're trying to hurt him now, right?
Oh yeah, we're still hurting him.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. You're not looking
I'm just
for
super
answers.
pissed,
Okay.
and so I might devil's bargain this.
You want a devil's bargain?
I want to kill him. We're dying. He's dying at this point. Probably.
Okay. I think.
Unless it's a bad idea for you narratively.
No. I don't ever have any narrative. I just do whatever.
I just know I spring things on you a lot, and
No,
so
I
I
love
want to
it.
be more deferential.
No. This you do. You all play how you want to play. I love it. I love it. Do you want to go into a rage?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, what does the camera see when Miss Fritter becomes the silent calm killer to the rage? How does the rage take over?
So hearing the commotion outside and through the door and the shot, and then what's undoubtedly the Lampblack showing up, It's like breathing new life into her as she starts to feel like the like white hot rage just coursing through her body, and it's like she doesn't put any effort into just getting up and just beating the shit out of this guy. So on my character sheet, that means I have to do something.
That means that you have 2 conditions now, which is one, they all must basically you have to hurt everyone you can see, and 2, that you cannot stop until they're broken.
Yeah.
And you can resist either one of those or neither of those, depending on your choice. In this instance, I don't think it matters much, but if you're like, if your other people were around you, it would be hard to tell friend from foe.
Yeah.
But right now, there's only one person, he's your foe, so I don't think it hurts you at all.
Correct. And how does that adjust my roll?
It makes it greater effect.
Greater
effect. If it would be standard, it pushes up the effect of anything you want to do.
Okay. So still risky. This will be a greater effect.
Yep.
And then this is a wreck. I'm assuming everybody knew that was just going to be a wreck. I got a 5 because apparently the algorithm does not like me. I haven't rolled a 6 yet. So just so y'all know.
If it makes you feel better, I rolled twice in real life during your rolls, and I rolled a 6 both times.
That does not make me feel better.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
The opposite.
I don't think that did what you thought. It was differently. Like it.
No, no, guys, I'm trolling. Come on now.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, tell me what happens that where his life ends. Like what is this? Does
his life end? Because at this point I don't even know. Like,
yeah. I mean, you have greater effect. You got a 5. You still succeed. It's not much. He's basically on the minion class. So, and then I'll tell you what happens afterwards.
Well, let's just say that I wasn't necessarily aiming for like this part of his face, but that's definitely where I hit, and then it just kind of the skull fractured into his brain, and yeah.
So I think in the camera would show the anger and rage and just annihilation of someone, and then as Miss Fritter turns to kind of walk out the door, she turns and you open the door, and only then do you know that you remember the sound of a small derringer being shot and hitting you, and you really haven't felt the pain. It just is what it is. So you kind of look down and maybe at your leg, and there's a small hole where a derringer shot hit you in the leg. So you're going to take level 1 harm, which is grazed or wounded, not a big deal. But so you still don't even feel it, but it kind of registers in your mind after the fact. All right,
sounds good.
Run back outside. So no answers from him. Let's run back outside. What's happening? You hear the shot from outside, preacher grunting. You hear sounds inside as if someone is being slammed up against every surface imaginable, and then an eerie quiet. And this is all in the span of just 30 seconds. So Aldo is still outside waiting for you. Sai is looking around just with eyes wide open, trying to figure out where to, like a deer in the headlights, trying to figure out where to go. But Aldo means violence. And you see he's kind of pushing and shoving up against some lamp blacks. What would you like to do?
What was the other guy's name? Not Aldo, the one that I've been talking to.
Sai.
What's his name again? Okay. I don't know his name, so never mind.
Yeah, no,
actually, like I said, yeah. So I just look at him kind of with a sigh, and I go, "Your brother just threw your life away, and you're about to too. You're about to throw your own life away." And I'm actually gonna flash back, and I'd actually like to set up like a trap up top, and essentially, like mechanically, the way that I want it to work is essentially it's like a Home Alone trap of like, I press a button and a sledgehammer falls on his head. So I'm actually going to say now. Is that cool? Before I move forward.
So it's going to be 2 stress to set this up.
Yep.
And it's going to have an action of some kind to make sure it works. So So are you? Sai is the one with the deer in the headlights. Is that who this is aimed at, or is this aimed at Aldo?
This is aimed at. This is actually based off of. That's interesting. That's a good question. So the way that it's set up, I'll say that it has a kind of a blast radius of either one based off
Okay.
of where they're positioned. I like to kind of picture it like I've set up like two like large. What are they're not like crossbows. They're the bigger ones, the ones
Trebuchets?
like yes, yeah, but not like that big, but like a little bigger than that.
I'd say that's like there's like harpoons because people.
Yeah.
This is the whaling part. Like you could go out and whale. I think there's harpoons that are available to you to
Yep.
shoot or yeah. That's so this is something with like that.
So maybe we'll say we have them aimed at both. Is that cool? We have
Yeah,
one
that's
at
fine.
each. And so I'll just say I can you can go first, or he can go first. Or both of you can give us the information that we're looking for. And then everyone walks away. Oh, and by the way, just in case you were worried, you're even more outnumbered than you think on top of all that. So, what would you like to do?
So I think Sai starts basically saying that he'll give you the information. He's kind of
By the way,
backing up.
I point up to show that
He's
I'm
on
serious.
his butt, kind of backing up into a corner around one of the eaves of the house. Kind of like, no, I'll get okay, that's fine. You see at this point, it doesn't look like Aldo, the other brother that's outside, is paying any attention. He's fighting with the Lamp Blacks, and you don't think that there's going to be a stop. In fact, being around Miss Fritter, you think that he may have gone into a rage of some kind and is just kind of doing whatever he wants to do at this point in time.
Okay.
All right. So, Preacher and Miss Corbin.
So Aldo is occupied currently. Is that what we're trying to say?
He is fighting. Aldo is fighting with the Lamp Blacks and you all too. Like, if you let me get a shot, I'm probably going to take a shot at one of you or hit or do something bad. He's kind of fighting against them a little bit, but he isn't down by any means.
Sorry, Josh.
No, you're fine.
I'm actually going to go ahead and fire one of them at the other one.
At
Like,
Aldo
not
or
lethally. Oh,
at Aldo or at Siren?
At Aldo.
Okay, that's fine. So go ahead and fire.
Just to do the thingy. So I'm going to say that's Prowl, because he has no idea it's fucking coming.
Yep, that works.
All right. Cool. Riskier, control.
It is absolutely risky because you may hit somebody else. You may hit,
Standard.
this is like a homemade machine thing. So
Yeah.
just letting you know.
That's all right. Came to play, baby. Standard.
All right. So risky and standard. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. 6. Of course. So I think it hits it. It absolutely hits him. The spear, the harpoon kind of goes ricocheting off, and it's kind of flicked his way, and ends up going through probably part of him in his midsection somewhere. But at this point in time, Aldo does not seem to be on the same wavelength as a normal human, and is doing something that he shouldn't be able to do. But just like in a rage of some kind, is probably not feeling the pain. So it is absolutely got him hurt really bad. So
and
probably
I'll just no, go ahead.
In my head, so he has a 4-turn clock that's clicked up 2 of them, and so we need 2 more clicks in order to basically take him out or do something, whatever you want to do, because he's on rage powder, so that makes his effect higher. All right.
And I'll just actually, because he's sitting down, I'll sit down with him and I'll just be like, he doesn't have to die.
Okay. All right. So Siren is basically trying to stop all this and just can't.
Yep.
All right. Preacher, Miss Corbin?
Sorry.
I mean, I kind of want him to die, so
This is your all story.
just saying. Yeah, I just want to keep at him with my knife.
Okay. So you get an assist. because of the lamp blacks.
Okay, so it's risky, and it's limited now, right? Since I am wounded.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. You said I get an assist. Wow. Well, I didn't fail.
You didn't fail. You succeeded, which will be one more. Which will be one more tick on his clock. So how does he? How does he? What happens when you cut him, or whatever you do to him? What happens?
Well, he's not dead, obviously, but how about where he hits me? Preacher like goes to one knee, and as I'm sort of like kneeled over, they're like trying to catch at my breath. I see the chance to, as he turns to one of the lamp blacks, and I just take the knife and just like cut across the back of his Achilles.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think the complication I'm going to put on this is people have seen the violence that's going on, and the alarms start going off for the blue coats. So we're going to have a blue coat coming any minute now, as the blue coats are being called to this part of Silkshore.
Okay.
Miss Corbin?
All right, so we have all those down out.
He is not out yet. Aldo is
Yeah, one
not
more
out yet.
clock.
He has one tick left on being out. Sai is basically down, will do whatever at this point. But Aldo is not taken care of yet.
I'll look at Sai and just say, "You do what we want, and your brother lives." She'll look in and then she'll take out her bottle of sleep essence, dab it on one of her on a handkerchief she has, and then just try and like see if she can like sedate Aldo.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So you get an assist, whatever that's the effect. But if he only has one left, you just need a success of any kind.
Yeah.
So okay.
Skirmish.
Yep.
Risky.
And you get an assist, so make sure you add that in.
And the bonus.
A 5. So I think it works. He gets stabbed in the or sliced across the Achilles. He goes down on one knee, and you're able to kind of walk up behind him as prim and proper as you like, and slap that patch across his mouth, and you see he's breathing very heavily. And it takes just a few seconds for him to basically pass out forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happens in the complication is just like we said with the blue coats. It
Mm-hmm.
takes a little bit of time, and before you're able to really get you see blue coats coming now, so you know you only have time for a quick question or two to get the information you need before the blue coats are on you. Does that make sense? So I want you succeeded. Aldo's down. You have time if you want to get Sai to talk. You have time for a question or two. That's it. So what are those questions? Mist is formed around you. The still is in the air as the violence has stopped for a brief minute, and Sai is looking around with wide rabbit eyes, trying to figure out what in the world's going on as he looks over at his brother laying in the middle of the street, maybe passed out, maybe dead. He doesn't really know. He's bleeding real heavy. He looks up and sees the blue coats kind of heading in your direction down a block or two, and they're yelling and with lamps drawn high as they try to figure out what's going on and break this all up. You have just a few seconds to figure out what to ask Sai before the blue coats will be on you, or you have to leave. So I'll give you 2 questions. Anybody?
I'm thinking.
Feel free to converse as a group. This
Yeah,
would be a this would
Yeah.
definitely be a thing that you would flash back and say, here's what we need to ask, or
Oh, yeah,
here's what
good
the
call.
information we need. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
as
Just
players,
So I was thinking, like, where do we find your contact?
Yeah, I think where is more important because these are muscle and they
Yeah.
they wouldn't know who the hell they're working for.
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
And what's
So
the other one?
Yeah. Well, I think. Mm,
Oh, when did
I
they
think it'll be
expect
based off the
you?
answer to the first one.
Oh, you want me to answer the first one? Okay.
Yeah.
You basically wear, and he's like, we take him to Ankahet Park, south of Silk Shore. Ankahet Park, big park. There's a big statue in the middle. It's like a podium. Underneath that is where we lead these two, and then we like lead them to the door. Right, it's like a hidden door underneath the statue in Ankahet Park. And you all know Ankahet Park is a large park just south of here that is kind of walled off. It's pretty quiet. Has some bunch of petrified trees and bushes and flowers. Not much goes on there. It's actually for strolls during the quote unquote daytime. It's pretty well traveled, but at night there's no one there. So he that's what he tells you. It's Ankahet Park. Just go there. That's where we take them. We do as we're told. Like we get asked to bring something new, so we bring them to him. What's your second question? As the blue coats are getting closer and closer.
So it's like that's where they tape him, but like. I was thinking, like, what, like, thank God it's a flashback. Oh, but like the what, right? Like after that, like what's? But I feel like that's a burn of a question because he might just be like,
No, I'll
I
give
don't
you
know.
something.
I just do the thing.
I'll give you something. No, if you ask a question, I'm going to give you something, or I'll tell you to answer. Ask something
Are you
else.
sure you want to ask a question, or do you want to threaten him
You
to
only
stay
have like.
away?
Oh yeah, you could use the time to just basically say you could threaten his life and tell him to stay away from. That's fine too.
I feel like
Yeah.
I've done that like for like 3
Yeah,
rounds.
he
To
knows-
be fair.
Okay, that's
He's not
fine.
gonna. I don't think he's gonna go back the way he is.
Yeah.
Preacher, what do you think?
Are they Are they expecting you, or are they just expecting Muscle to drop this off? Is a question, maybe. Like,
He
If that's-
says,
I think it's fair to, based off of what they know, which
Mhm.
is not much, that they probably don't care.
yes,
But-
it's just like confirmation, maybe, or
It's a risk, but
yeah.
He basically says, I don't know who else he has working for him. We get an order to go get these things, and we bring them to him. We don't know who he is, and so then he pays us, and we go. Like I don't. It's weird. It's really creepy down there. Like it's like that stupid bar you were trying to tell me about, that Sparks whatever place. There's all kinds of mechanisms and things. Like when he opens the door, you could see it. It's like a lab or something in there. It really freaks me out. I don't go in there.
that's our second question. So
Mhm.
I'll just say, so I actually want to congratulate you. Because the fact that you're still breathing means I broke a promise, actually. Because I wasn't, the last time I had a similar situation like this, I immediately regretted it. Are you gonna make me regret it?
You see, he's
You gonna make me
kind
come
of
find you?
he's kind of looking down and almost is like in a blubber, just like no, I don't no.
Yeah.
Just
See?
no.
Shh. I put my hand on his shoulder. See, blubberness doesn't work for me anymore. You used to. You used to.
Okay. Anybody else want to do
So
anything
just-
before the scene closes?
I think you just get the hell out of here.
Mhm.
Maybe send.
I'll just say, I'll find you. That's all.
There you
Okay.
go. We know your name, but we know your face.
So we need to get away from the blue coats as they come walking up. Is this how do you want to do this? This can be a group action where you all choose one thing and all roll it together, and you basically take the highest. Just need somebody to lead it, or what? How do you want to get away?
Can we flash back to our earlier conversation around transportation. Like we were talking about carriage. And I'll just say, we haven't done a boat getaway. Like, shouldn't we just check that off the bucket list?
Don't you remember what happened last time we got on a boat?
That's why we need to redo it. Like, it didn't count the first time.
There will be explosions if you get on a boat. I'm just gonna let you know ahead of time.
I made you promise.
All right, so let's have a roll of some kind to see if you can get away from here. You can all do it individually. You can do it as a group roll. Again, group roll is where someone takes the lead. Everyone rolls that attribute, no matter if you have anything or not. You take the highest. For every failure, the person who takes a lead takes a stress.
Oh, jeez.
So you don't have to be good at it. Stress? Yeah, you don't have to be good at it. You just have to be the person to coordinate it and be able to take some stress.
I have 4.
I have 4 currently.
I have 5. Okay, fine. I'll lead it.
Oh.
That's fine.
And what is the action going to be?
Pulling them into the building.
Okay.
And going out the back because the back was blown open.
Yep.
So that will be on like the next block.
Okay. So is that what attribute are you all going to use? Is that a study, a survey, a prowl?
I'll call it a survey for me. It's a survey.
Everybody picks the same one, so everybody you got to choose one.
Survey's fine.
A survey?
Oh,
okay.
Survey sounds fine.
I'm terrible at that.
It doesn't even matter because it won't be you taking the stress no matter what.
It's
okay,
me
so
taking the stress.
everybody rolls. Everybody go ahead and roll survey. This is basically looking at the action as it's coming, as the blue coat's coming in. It's staring and trying to figure out where to go quickly. So everybody roll a survey. Let's see who we're going to take the highest roll. This will be. Yes, this will be risky. Absolutely. If you fail this, then it'll move to desperate. But right now, it's risky. Okay.
Oh my here we fucking go.
Holy shit!
Holy shit!
I'm sorry. Oh,
you get a failure. You get a failure. You get a failure. You get a failure.
So in the end, you got 3.
Holy shit!
3 fails.
No.
3 fails.
Oh.
And
I succeeded.
You succeeded. You got a 5. So you all get away. What I'm going to do is, you get away, but it comes close enough that the blue coats see who it is, and we're going to put extra heat on you during the downtime phase, because usually you get away and are never seen. Now they saw you, they saw who you were, so you're going to get 2 extra heat. I'm going to mark that down.
Okay.
So I remember it.
I feel like we got what we wanted.
You doing okay?
Nothing else can happen to me.
Oh God. Oh. Okay, good. I thought I'm like, maybe it's over.
Yeah,
all right. Over.
Oh, no.
So
Okay.
you're all able to get back into the building to the back, close the door. You hear the door. I've heard you probably even lock it behind you. So you hear it takes them a minute to bust down the door and see the body inside, and you just hear a, "What the fuck?" And as they are looking over the broken body of Vond, and you're able to kind of skirt out the back. I think it takes some stress to stand there and kind of snap yourself out of the rage to get them moving and get them going. But you eventually do and are able to get back in your carriage, and you all kind of fade off into the distance as you're ending your night of the first score. You have the information you need that is at Ankahet Park. We're going to do a final scene with each of our characters and then be done for the night and kind of tell us where we're going to go next. So you are able to come back. The carriage pulls back up to Crow's Foot, lets you all off, and you all to park and get everything together, and you kind of go off into back to your lives for a brief amount of time. Who wants to go first? We're going to do a little end scene here.
I'll go first.
You want to go first? Okay.
Sure.
You come back in. You probably come back to your apartment, and
Not quite.
your ex is it Darlene?
Yeah, I was actually wasn't gonna go to the apartment.
Where are you going to go?
Going to 2 Cats.
2 Cats? Okay, that's fine.
What time is it, by the way?
It is pretty late at this point. It is by the time you circle around a few blocks. I think that Two Cats is probably closing about this time. It's that late, early into the morning. As you arrive back into Two Cats, you probably are able to walk in just as Rigney is kind of closing up everything and getting the last few basically friends, the last drinks, and kind of hanging out. And you come strolling in.
Sure. Okay. I come in, not like completely wearing the typical grinning face, not even thinking about the events of tonight at all. Wave at a few regulars, check in, cheers, probably do a couple of friendly shots on the way. And I actually sit at a table by myself for a little while. And walks in Darlene.
Okay.
Because we're gonna try this dating thing again, even though it is 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep, absolutely. So she, she walks in and says, "You're late. It's not a good way to start a relationship, I hear."
No, but at least I'm fashionably late.
Oh, you definitely are fashionable.
After all.
Yeah.
But also it's nice and quiet. We always wanted to have a bar to ourselves. Typically we close it down, but now we can open it up if we want to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. You think she takes a drink and kind of sits down, and she almost goes. She's like, "So tell me. So where? How are you? How are you?" She catches herself in the middle of that conversation. And how are you?
I lead forward with a bit of a grin, and then I kind of wipe it off, like almost like it's like an eraser.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly, things are good. I'm good. I didn't expect to be. I actually came in. I thought about this earlier today, and I genuinely thought about all the things I was going to lie to you about. But that's not how this works. Not anymore. Things are much more complicated now, for sure. But I'm willing to give it a shot. And plus, we have some christening of the bar to do.
So I think their drinks and I think you all are talking back and forth, and then she kind of says at some point she kind of looks over and points to she points to one of the other bar stools, and you see there's a kind of a blanket hanging out of the bottom of it. And she said, "I had to bring little man up here. He's been having bad dreams. He wanted to talk to you before he went to sleep."
Really?
So I think you kind of hear him stir a little bit, and he sits up. And what does he call you?
Dada.
He says, "Dada, you're back."
And you are like 4 hours past your bedtime. Come here.
Yeah. he does the hug thing. He's slumbering. He kind of gets the sleep in his eyes a little bit. He's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad when you're around.
Yeah, I'm always going to be around.
Well, good. I can't...
Gotta put him on my lap.
You think he's kind of yawning. He kind of snuggles up against you, and as he's kind of falling back asleep, he says, "Can you tell that man to stop visiting me when I try to sleep? It's hard to sleep when he's around. I can't sleep. Like, he keeps wanting to talk to me."
I kind of make eye contact very quickly with Darlene for like a half a second.
Yeah.
What man, buddy?
Her eyes immediately shoot up, and he says, that man that comes to my window at night. He says he's your friend.
What does he look like, buddy?
I don't know. It's dark. It's shadows, and I can't really see him. But he has eyes like yours.
Okay.
Can you tell him to leave me alone so I can sleep?
Ruffle his hair a little bit. Dana's on the case. Don't worry about it.
Good. I knew you would be. And he kind of snuggles into you. Anything else?
I think like the camera pans out as like they're both like stunned to silence, and it fades to black.
Good. Who's next?
I'm happy to go next if you want me to.
So Preacher, where are you going? What are you doing?
I guess honestly, I'm going to just head back. I've got a bruised rib here, and
Yeah.
so I'll make my way back to the apartment now. And I'm sure Ezekiel will be around at some point, but
Yeah, I think as you walk in, maybe Ezekiel is kind of shuffling around looking for something to eat in the kitchen, doing that. Oh, you're home? I just happened to be out here. Like I wasn't standing out here the whole time waiting for you. You know, that kind of, not that I've ever done that, but I hear that's done. So he's like, he tries to play it cool, but then he kind of looks down and sees that you're hurt. And he's like, are you okay?
sort of like drop my hand from the ribs, try to downplay a little bit. Yeah, things just got a little hairier than usual, but everyone's fine.
Okay, so I know this isn't the time, but like, that's what I'm supposed to be there for. Like, I'm supposed to be there helping you, right?
Grab a couple glasses, take a seat. We'll have a little talk.
He already has the glasses. Basically, he was standing at the countertop. He turns around. He already has the glasses in his hand, and the drink. And he kind of comes over and sits down.
I'm going to take my flask out, and I'm going to pour us both a little bit of whiskey.
Okay.
Set the flask down in front of me. What? And I mean this in the most kind of way. In the hell do you think you'd want to be out there for?
I mean, what kind of question? It's what we do. Like it's what we do.
Who's we?
He kind of takes his glass, and I think he goes to like cheers you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we, and like does the little, hey, yeah, we. This is. I mean, it's in our blood. Like this is why Satara wanted us. This is what. I mean, you were building this. I'm in. Like you came and got me, and then I'm in. I mean, you don't. I understand you're going to get hurt. I understand things are going to happen, but not with us. Like not together.
Do you think that's all this entitles is we might get hurt?
Well, we're gonna have to hurt other people. Like, well, I mean, things. I don't know. I don't know that I want to do that. But like, I mean, you gotta make money. You gotta do things. You can't. I'm not gonna go down and work. No.
Set your glass down and let me educate you on something real quick here.
A look crosses over his face at the word educate.
Now those people back there, they are my family. Do you understand the meaning of that?
He looks and it's like, yeah, I understand family.
Do you really, though? Because I don't think you quite do. Now, you and me, we might be related by blood, and we're family in that context. But what would you be willing to do exactly? To kill? You think that's what it is? We just get up and go kill? Earn some money?
I guess I don't know what it is. I thought I did.
You don't have a damn clue, son. I'll tell you what, if I went back, and listen real carefully what I'm about to say, if I went back to that place and one of them had any idea that maybe you have betrayed one of us or crossed one of us or said some word against us, do you know who would have to come and get you? Do you know who would have to kill you?
Right, but that's why I'm in.
It would be me, son. I would be the one that have to come take care of you because I'm the one that vouched for you. Do you understand that? And if this table was reversed and I did something to those people back there, would you have the guts, would you have the balls to come back after me?
I guess I'd have to find out. I don't know. Did you choose these people? Or did this grow? This family that you have chosen over your own?
I didn't choose a family over my own. Son, you had the blood in you because I'm the one that put it there. Do you understand? It wasn't some divine prophecy that brought us to this point in our lives. This is not what we're meant to do. This is just something that happened. All right? And I owe those people my life because they helped me come find you. And now I owe them something much more than my life. Do you understand that?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm hoping to show them that I'm worth it. Like if I go off and just do nothing or just be a normal person, would they have risked themselves for a nothing? I can't be a nothing. I can't do the job and the hope to go okay and make a little money, and like you wouldn't do all this for a normal person.
You represent something that none of us are. You got hope. You got a future. You can do things the right way. Go and have a family. Start an education. Go be with any man or woman or anybody that you choose to be with. Do you understand? We ain't got that choice, son. We don't know what love is, honestly. We don't know what making choices are beyond just what saves our skin from the next day to day, or will put a little bit of coin in our pocket. It ain't a life. It's a for now. Because everybody in this group, our lives are very, very limited. And we gave a chance to save you so you could have something better.
I am choosing.
Same for our son. You think that little boy's going to grow up in this life? You think he's going to let him come up in this life like that?
Am I a child?
You're always going to be my son. You're always going to be a child to me. And I'm always going to have to look over you some way or another. And this is me being the best father that I can to you right now. There is no part for you in the Ash Syndicate. And there never will be. You're going to go off to some college or university and you're going to make something of your life. Do you understand?
You hear him say, kind of, he gets the far glaze looking at his eye, and the camera would kind of show him looking out the window. And he says, yeah, I understand perfectly. And he just sits there. For however long you sit there, he sits there. He's not looking at you anymore.
Take the drink and I'll put the whole thing back and set it back on the table upside down.
Okay.
I'm going to get up now. And you're going to make a decision for me. All right? You're either going to walk back to that room and go to bed for the night, or you're going to walk out that front door. You've got those two choices right now.
Okay. So you stumble back to your room and proceed to change and bandage your wounds. And as the camera closes, we hear another door open and close. Miss Corbin, what do you got going on?
Can I interrupt real quick before
Oh,
we get
yeah,
into that?
please.
I'm sorry.
No,
We have a
please.
giveaway tonight.
Yeah.
The keyword for tonight is going to be wreck. So Hannah has graciously donated a copy of Blades in the Dark. So if you put the keyword wreck in the chat, it'll enter you for the giveaway. So and we'll do
Absolutely.
that after
Make
we
sure
go
you get onto
around.
this book.
Okay, sorry for breaking.
No.
immersion.
Thank you. No,
Go
I
ahead.
appreciate
guys.
it.
Appreciate it.
Shauna, where do we find Miss Corbin? I think there's a business meeting that is being called from the Hive around this time. Are you are you doing something first? Are you late? Are you early? What are you?
She has to, whether or not, like, she has to do what she can. She has to be there on time.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine things are going to be a little terse with the others after what they after we kind of like go our separate ways, like maybe not more than a few moments before she has to kind of get out of her undercover and get her business clothes back on.
I think maybe the carriage doesn't even stop. It drops them off and you stay in it, get changed, and the carriage immediately drives to Night Market where you're going to be right on time.
Oh, before we leave, I think she's just going to say, next time we meet, we need to talk.
Okay. So the meeting is adjourned or is beginning, not adjourning. As you walk up the flights of stairs that are whatever the warehouse or whatever that you're using for your temporary business being for the Hive, I think you walk in the door and everyone is there. I think that the last one to come, I think Klain. So there's 5 of you. I have to find the other one's names, but they're all there except for Farnsworth, which is your father. I think Klain, Klain in the wheelchair, is sitting there. Kind of as you come in, you walk in the door, and she greets you, and she has a drink and offers you a drink. Kind of looks over and goes, "Look like," she says, "You may need this. Are you okay?"
I'm fine. Just a little work I had to do beforehand. I see that someone's running late, perhaps.
Klain looks down and notices blood on the bottom of your dress, and says, "Yes, work."
You know what kind of work I do. So.
You know him. He'll be here any minute. In a huff and a puff, of course.
Yes, the world revolves around him, of course. They're kind. Sure. Yes.
So,
we'll just wait until
her chair spins up and kind of motions over. About that time, Farnsworth comes in and is like, "Is everyone ready? Everyone here? I had to wait for you all to be here, but now that you're here," and kind of distinctly looks over at you, even though you were not the last one there.
Well, ready to find out why we're all here. What is the business?
We have several parcels of business tonight. We want to make sure we get them done, and meeting goes as normal. A lot of times it's back and forth. It seems like tonight there's not much discussion. It seems as if basically as you notice in the night, again, you're a spider. You watch people, you watch the room, you see how things ebb and flow. And you notice there's a change in people tonight. People are scared or timid. And everything that you say one way, Farnsworth or one of the others says the opposite way, and basically gets voted down immediately, like 4-1. Whatever it is that you wanted starts being voted down again and again and again. And the first couple of times you think, okay, it's just my idea is not, here or there or whatever, but you've not experienced this before, where you're being controlled in this fashion, in the fashion of being outvoted or the power that you have. Even your most persuasive arguments, even things that you spoke to these people about just days ago and had their side on the vote. It seems like it's no longer going that way.
He has something on them. I think she, in her mind, but she is seething inwardly. She's doing her best to kind of just like be matter of fact. Like, it's just, this is business. This is how it goes. We'll have another turn next time. But inward, she's,
yeah, I think toward the end of the meeting, he basically calls one of the other members calls the meeting to adjourn, and you could definitely see they were nervous and anxious and did not want to give you that eye contact of somebody who was guilty and knew that they weren't doing something they were supposed to be doing. But Farnsworth kind of stands there defiantly towards the end, is shuffling papers and kind of getting everything together as everyone's breaking apart. Maybe as you get up to go, he kind of looks over and goes, "It's not as easy as what you thought it would, is it?"
No. I came in here knowing how much your people like to wave around power. None of us are nobles, so comes to the territory.
What else would you do with power besides wave it around?
You've had it for long enough. You haven't made things any better. I see you have a bunch of spoiled children. And whatever power you have, just gets diluted. We'll see.
Yeah, you better
Sure.
get used to meetings just like this. How bad does it feel to work so hard for something and really doesn't even matter?
I didn't even think that you would know what that felt like, doing work, having to scrape things from the bottom. Have everything handed to you, of course, but we will see. After all, if this is the normal, but if I do get one eye on you, if I have a small victory on you, that matters for a lot more. So we'll see. You can have today. I don't honestly care.
He puts paperwork away and says, "Yeah, you just keep hoping for those small victories. I'll keep winning the war."
Well, I look forward to seeing you again.
You see, he gives you almost the same exact smile you just gave. The same. That's where there's a small resemblance of the cheeks, and Smile says, "Absolutely." Anything else you would like done?
No, I think there's a little bit of like her poise, kind of like that she can see a little bit of herself in him, like bothers her.
Absolutely. I wanted you to make that connection and not say it, but absolutely, there is match for match. You see small bits, just small bits, but yeah, there's a little bit there. Anything you want to do personally as a character or anything? I took the scene from you and I apologize, so I want to make sure you get your right to do what you want.
No, I think it's time for her to. She's ready to kind of like move against them. Like, this has been like kind of slow moving, but well, I guess we'll find out in what ways I take after you.
I think with that, he's turned around and was walking away. Okay. Anything else from Miss Corbin and Singh?
I think that's it.
All right. Miss Fritter,
Up,
what are you doing?
going home. I got shot in the leg.
Going home, indeed. Going home, indeed. As you get out from the, as you get out of the carriage and walk away, the rage finally ceasing to be and kind of putting back that calm again. The pain starts to drive in your leg, and I think it reminds you of another night that pain drove you. That's the night that you killed Lissa. The night you walked into the crow's nest and killed the remaining members of the crows that were still following her, and had your ultimate finale with her.
Mm-hmm.
We know the outcome of that. We understand what would happen along the way, but I think that there's that same thought process as you walk home again, hurting and having hurt. What is Miss Fritter thinking about?
At the moment, she's devising a plan, working through it in her mind. She needs to pay back Boz for his boys coming to help. How she's going to try to navigate fooling the Lamp Blacks. Not the Lamp Blacks, sorry, the Bluecoats. And researching what could potentially be in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's just formulating an idea. She's not even bothered at the moment by the death.
Right. No, absolutely not. They were nothing, and they chose that. And I think it's harder your brain is a little fuzzy. It's harder to think, and not because of the pain or the clarity. It's hard to think because you haven't slept well at nights. You have been having dreams that you can't picture or can't figure out what they are. It may be the same dream over and over and over again. And it almost feels like you're in that dream right now. You ever that moment of deja vu where you think, I've been here before. I felt this feeling before. You look around and the fog has finally hit full force on Duskfall. It's quiet. There's the ringing of laughter in the background. There's the pounding of the ocean waves. But there's pain coursing through you even now that you don't register it, but you know it's there. It almost feels like that same part of your dream where you look around and you're alone, just utterly alone. And there's chanting in the background. For the longest time, you didn't understand it. But I think now, as you walk home, the lyrics to this chant start to flow in your mind, almost as if coming you unbidden from some other force. Do you want to tell us what those lyrics are, or do you want me to?
If you would like to, you can.
I give you that choice.
Oh, okay. If you don't want to, that's totally fine.
Again, I'm giving you the choice.
I'll do it.
I can do it.
Fine. That's fine. I'll do it.
Okay.
So as I'm walking along and I hear this chant, I will just say it out loud as I'm like processing it. His time did not advance as wrinkles crease my face. The dust from whence I came calls attention to disgrace. Complacent where I sit upon my lyre's throne, the ashes of the past are not the ash I've grown. Fear not of the dark, for the shadows never tell of the stalkers in the night and the harlots that they fell. I'll look around and see if I can see it, see who it is, if there's anything at all. But
flitting shadows.
Yeah, it's not real in like this plane of existence. It's like in my head.
You definitely know the voice you heard say those words was inside your head, but you don't know how those words got there. You rack your brain to try to figure out where have I heard this? Where I must have seen this. I must have read this. I must have taken in this information somewhere. And the blue coats fade away, the Bazo fade away as the night you are consumed with trying to figure out how these words came to you. And even as you continue to go, you can't forget them. This isn't something that's in your head and then it's gone. It's there. You could say this, in your soul 20 years from now, you could say this exact same thing and have it as words on your heart, as if you'd said it every day of your life.
Okay.
What does Miss Fritter do?
She goes home.
Goes home
She's
to a quiet
grateful
house.
this didn't happen in front of everyone else.
Absolutely. Do you write it down?
She'll never forget it.
Absolutely. And that's where we're going to end session 1 of season 2 of the Ash Syndicate. Sorry, that's longer than normal. We got a late start and jumped into some things, and I was prefacing some things. So usually we're going to keep going about 2 hours, maybe a little over if we get some RP like we did tonight. I wanted to end the session with an RP skit from each one of these amazing players.
Shit, they were all amazing.
Yeah. This last little bit is what you'll see more of when we do the downtime session amongst them, amongst us. So we'll see that a little bit more in the downtime session coming up next week. But for tonight, I am Nathan. You see him pronouns, and I'm at Not Another Nate on Twitter. I have been your narrator, and am absolutely amazed to be back with this great crew. I have no clue where this season's going to go, but it's going to be a fun ride along the way. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go. I'm Hannah. You can find me on Twitter at Stop That Old Woman. I play in this game on Wednesday nights, and I play in a Star Wars game on Saturday night, which is exactly what Josh is going to tell you too. So, it was great playing your favorite lunch lady today. And hopefully next time I don't get shot, because that sucks. So there we go.
All right. And Shauna?
Hey, I'm Shauna Flying Cirrus. You can catch my art. You can catch my art on Instagram and Twitter at Flying Cirrus, where like the art that's on this very game. So have more coming out soon. Catch me a bunch of places. Also on Wednesdays, a couple hours before this game, at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm playing in Hexcrawl, a spy game campaign where a bunch of spies in a and we got good combat, and we're going to have some probably break in infiltration next episode. I'm very happy. And on Saturdays on Level Up Dice, it's Scion, Birth of New Gods, where I play a Kitsune godling who has to have a one-on-one with her mother next episode. I'm kind of like can't wait for that. Like it's gonna be emotional. So
all parenting things are good. If we know from this one, all parenting things are good. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be doing this again. I love this campaign. I love everybody here.
Absolutely. Duval?
Back at you. Yo, hey everybody. Duval King Jacob, i.e. Jacob here. The session's still washing over me here, so I'm consistently blown away, as always. It's just typical, right? Typically, you can find me as the host and dungeon master for a little show called Duval and Dragons every other Sunday on twitch.tv/SoManyGames, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So last Sunday, so watch that game so you can be prepared in 2 weeks. Gig Attack, which is typically Tuesday nights on 9:30 p.m., is on hiatus for a little bit because we are moving, and we got some exciting news that's going to be happening really, really soon in the next couple of weeks. So stay fucking tuned. It's going to be exciting. There's also a new campaign starting next Monday called The Agency, back on Somatic Games' channel. That's actually going to be in Quest or the system, sorry, and a bunch of other really cool shit happening. Life is good. It's a new year. Let's do it.
Absolutely. And last, certainly not least, our host, Saevrick.
Oh, hi. I'm Saevrick or Josh. I've been your player and your best friend this evening. Before I rehash what Hannah said, I'm going to go ahead and roll us for a winner for this evening's Blades in the Dark book.
Yay!
So,
I hope you win.
drum roll. The Great Mustache. You are the
Hey!
winner of this evening's copy of Blades in the Dark.
The Great Mustache, if you can send me your address or send Josh your address, then I will get that book out to you. And you should look out for future giveaways on this game.
Yes, it looks like we're going to have something just about every week, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
Yeah, so if you didn't win tonight, maybe come back next week. You might get lucky. I don't know why I'm talking like that.
Where did that come from?
Wow, what?
Yeah, that was weird.
For some reason, I just. Why are you timing out the Great Mustache, Hannah?
I don't understand what just happened. I'm trying to fix it.
Okay. Anywho, as Hannah
Too much
said,
hype for
we have
women.
this game on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have a Star Wars campaign, which takes place 7 p.m. on Saturdays. It is Knights of the Old Republic, except we went down a different timeline. So,
To say the least.
if you're used to the whole Revan Bastila storyline, you want to see something that just got turned sideways, by all means, you should check it out. It's got some fun players, and I love to torture them. Otherwise,
Your Twitter was like, oh, I was just like, oh wow, he's really torturing them.
yeah, I am.
I knew like that early.
This is fair. But I think they're having a good time. So, if they're not, then they should tell me, Hannah.
Fine, Josh.
It's
Totally.
I would like to use my Blades in the Dark ability, Nate, and ask if I
Right.
believe Hannah.
No devil's bargain on this one.
Double bargain.
As long as you don't use that NPC voice, we're totally chill.
Oh, you make
a
me
great
use
time.
it
What was it?
now.
What was? Yeah, which one was that, Josh? That she doesn't like?
Do you need me to vocally say it to
She
bring it back
already
over?
took her headphones out.
I would never do that to
That's
you.
brilliant. What's
It's all good.
Oh, I love it.
She's just waiting to put her headphones back in. So you're fine, Hannah. I didn't do it at all. So no worries. Is there anything else that you all would like to cover this evening before I let you all go? Okay.
Nope.
I will say thank you for all stopping by. If you're watching this on YouTube later, thank you.
Hi, Bonnie.
Maybe you should come by and
Yeah,
check
we
us out live.
tomorrow.
Yeah, Bonnie, we look forward to your live. What do you call
Recap?
them? Live recaps.
Live
I don't know.
reactions?
It'd just be a recap.
yeah.
It would be live, obviously.
Well,
Yeah.
no, she live tweets her
She
reactions.
live tweets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what.
English
You
is
should follow-
hard.
You all should follow her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a
Bonnie
guy
is
could tell you how to
awesome.
do this, he's cool. He understands you're old.
Oh, God. Fuck.
You're gonna take that knife.
yeah. All right. Well.
I drop links in the thingy because I'm gonna put her Twitter handle in there.
Yeah,
There
if
it
you
is.
can.
Nope.
Can
It
you-
blocked it out.
Oh no.
Nope. I'm good. I still see
Oh.
Streamlabs came and
Streamlabs does not
Pictures.
like.
kicked that shit out
it.
again.
Said, sure you can.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like stars.
Oh really?
Yeah, just look.
'Cause I was like, it looks fine to me, you guys. All right, good to know.
Fine, I will go find it real quick, and then I'll let all these
All right.
people go for this evening.
We're divulging
Yeah,
here.
look at the hell out of
Bye,
here.
guys. Thanks for dropping
Good
by.
night.
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to do
We
this.
think you're the
Here we go.
bomb.com.
Why can I not find her Twitter?
It's
She's-
Bonnie
It's Bonchika.
Bonchika. Yeah, that's it.
Bonchika?
Here. There's the
Like
link
Bonchika.
in the Zoom. And then you can
Oh, yeah, okay.
And
I will.
Man.
Yeah.
it's,
I got
we are a beautiful mess. It's great.
We
There.
are.
Yay!
I have done
Yay.
something.
You did it. You did it, Josh. I'm so proud of
I
you.
hope she doesn't mind that you just did that.
I don't care. Because
If
she's
anything,
going to
it's my
see it
fault.
regardless. So.
Bonnie is
That's
our
true.
official stream sponsor
Yeah.
of support. She is our team cheerleader,
It's true. It's true.
Indeed.
and we love her.
We love her very
We
dearly.
do indeed. She's great.
So,
All right, let's just end this.
just end it. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We love you.
Bye.
Thank you for coming by.
Love you.
Catch you next week. See ya.